What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Blazers Uprise Live. This is the first episode of the season in which we don't have the Portland Trail Blazers playing. So we'll preview tomorrow's game a little bit, but we're also going to talk about Anfernee Simons and his potential payday this upcoming offseason, because that man is playing some great basketball right now, and it's something that we have to talk about. We got asked a bit about it on last night's post-game show, so what better time than now to have that conversation. We will upload the audio of the stream to Spotify. We'll cut out picks against the spread, which we'll kick off this episode with as usual. So if you found us through Spotify, come join us for a YouTube stream. The link should be in the Spotify description. And yeah, we got a pretty chill stream today. It's going to be a little bit shorter, and we're going to start off with picks against the spread. Before we hop into it, Eric, what's your first words, man? We need to call this segment, because I never know how to introduce your first words or whatever. I need a catchphrase or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Chat is probably better at coming up with that than me, but I'm doing good. Much better day after a Blazers victory than getting their butts kicked like on Tuesday after Monday's game. And so, yeah, much more positive today than I was a couple days ago.
Yeah, hopefully it's not round two of coming off a big win and then going up against the Los Angeles Clippers and getting blown out. Hopefully this is not a back and forth thing. Hopefully we can string together two good performances. That would be really fun. Last night was a ton of fun, though, being there at the game. That was just a phenomenal second half performance from the Portland Trail Blazers. If you want to listen back to our post-game stream, we have it up on Spotify right now, as well as on YouTube, as always, with all the graphical stuff that we're doing this year. So
I saw you in the background of Nurk's dunk too.
Yeah, I got a couple TV appearances and people are out there spotting me, man. And I just had somebody tweet at me, "Wear your mask." Man, I was eating some popcorn, all right, and I'm vaccinated, so relax. I was munching on the popcorn, man. But yeah, I was in the Greg Brown dunk shot, man. And that was a fun way to cap off that game. But let's look ahead. We got picks against the spread. It's an interesting start to the picks against the spread season so far. Reese, enjoy being number one while it lasts. Jackson is up there with him. Trevin and Eric are only a game behind. Chat and Zach are both 3 games behind. I am struggling. I'm absolutely struggling. Krish is struggling even more. So I feel bad for Krish. Feel bad for myself because it's not going too well. That is the standings. There's only 6 games today. You can see them there on the left. It's funny looking at Jackson because Jackson's 0-2 on double downs, which means he's 14-6 on picks. Reese is only 12-8 on picks, but he won both his double downs. That's why he's up there at 14-8. So
gotta be smarter with your confident pick.
The double downs are the great separator. And yeah, are you calling me dumb because I'm sitting here at 0-2 as well?
I mean, if you're struggling picking, it doesn't matter. But
no, I have been picking. I've been picking dumb. Just say it. I've been picking dumb.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you're picking bad, it doesn't really matter who you double down on because none of your picks are good. But if you're picking really well, you're picking the wrong ones if you're losing your double downs, right?
Yeah, facts. That's actually a pretty smart point. That's why you're up there at 13-9, Eric, and I'm down here at 9-13. Anyway, let's
going for some reverse psychology this year.
I don't know. I'm switching things up, man. I'm trying anything. I'm throwing everything against the wall. Game number 1, you got Philadelphia versus Detroit. Philadelphia is a 10-point spread. Eric, what are the injuries?
So Embiid and Milton were questionable, but it looks like they are both playing. So the 76ers will be without Ben Simmons, of course, and Grant Riller. Not really a big deal there. But yeah, so Embiid and Milton playing. Not sure how active they're going to be, but they'll at least be in the game. And out for the Pistons is Cade Cunningham. Jeremy Grant was also a game time decision. Looks like he is giving it a go tonight.
Okay. Alrighty, there's the poll in chat. There you guys go. I'll type it out nicer for you guys today since I'm not trying to catch up on graphics. Everything's good to go.
Is everyone here? I feel like might be missing some people.
We might be missing some people. Here's the thing, mods. If you are ever going to miss an episode, you can message us your picks. You can go to ESPN, look at the spreads, and you can message us your picks. That's the easiest way to do it. Otherwise, we might have somebody have to do a makeup day. Last year, we didn't have any problems with that, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have many problems with that. Here's chat going with the favorite. This has been a theme early on this season with chat, is they just go for the favorite. You gotta look at the spread. If you guys think the Sixers are gonna win by double digits, go ahead and vote Sixers. If you guys don't think the Sixers are gonna win by double digits, then you should be voting Pistons. That's the whole point of the spread. Otherwise, it'd be pretty boring to just pick who we thought was actually going to outright win the game. Chris is going Sixers.
Oh, there's
Reese
Chris.
is going Sixers.
Oh, he's there. Okay.
There's Reese and Chris. See, they're
Nice.
here. Dope. Okay. Yeah, and if you guys ever need to, you could always message us your picks, and we can put them in that way. That is something that's very doable. Eric, what's your pick?
I'm going to go with the 10 points and take the Pistons.
I'm also going with the Pistons. The Sixers have been dysfunctional so far this season. Obviously, the Ben Simmons saga, but they're relying on Embiid pretty heavily right now. The Pistons with Grant playing, I think they'll kind of keep it close. That's just what my gut is telling me. Trevin is going Pistons. The first game of the day has always been pretty split so far this year. Let me get chat up on my phone. It will make it easier on me. Alrighty, Jackson said he's looking at something real quick. So who knows what Jackson is looking at? The Pistons definitely aren't good, but a 10-point spread for a team in Philadelphia that's not playing good basketball right now and is kind of in a dysfunctional situation, and Detroit's going to be hungry. They haven't won yet. That's a tough spread. That's the thing. That's why the spreads are what they are. That's the whole point, is to make it tough to pick.
Zach's going Pistons.
Zach's going Pistons. Jackson's going Pistons. And chat, we're going to close the poll. Chat has 27 votes. 70% are for the 76ers. So Reese, Chris, chat, 76ers. Everybody else is going with the Pistons. All right. Game number 2. Atlanta versus Washington. 2 3-1 teams. This game is being played in the nation's capital, but Atlanta is a 3-point road favorite. 3-point favorite.
So the only one listed on the Hawks injury report is Okongwu. So it looks like all their major players are playing. Out for the Wizards are Thomas Bryant, Rui Hachimura, Daniel Gafford, and Spencer Dinwiddie. And both of these teams did play last night. I am going to take the Hawks. This seems like kind of easy money. You're muted.
I know, I was typing the poll.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
See, that's, you tell the injuries, that's when I take the time to type the poll out. That seems like the best system. I am also going to go with the I put both logos as the Wizards? No, I didn't. Weird. I don't know why I showed Wizards. I'm going Hawks.
Trevin,
Next
Jackson, game. Reese, Zach, all Hawks as well.
All right. So we're waiting on Christian chat?
Yep.
Alrighty. I'm going to have you wait to make your next pick. I don't want you swaying too many people as the defending champion.
Yeah. All right. My bad. I think this game was pretty obvious. So.
Yeah, it is pretty obvious. But when Eric Brandt says easy money, people are just going to follow the money.
That's true.
Jackson says Chris is going to go Wizards. Just watch.
Chris does his own thing, so.
I mean, that's the thing, is every day there's games that seem obvious that aren't. Like,
right.
The Timberwolves were 5.5-point favorites over the Pelicans on Monday. A lot of people went Timberwolves, and the Pelicans won by like 9. So, is that your pick?
Official, Chris?
Patriot News says, nice voting system, Tori. Finally made my first live with you too. Thank
What's up,
YouTube for
Pedro?
that. We were asking for it for
Yeah.
forever. And
All
YouTube
right.
finally got off their ass and put it in. So good for them. Good for the multi-billion-dollar company to implement such a groundbreaking feature.
So Chris is going with the Wizards. He should probably double down on him too, because that would be a chance to make up 2 games.
Why are you trying to keep him in the cellar, man? Chris needs to get out of the cellar. Chris. If the Wizards win this game, man, then Chris will make up some ground.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the logic, all or nothing at this point in the season. All right, I'm ending.
It's way too early for that, by the way.
Yeah, 83% for the Hawks. Eric.
All right.
Chris definitely went Wizards because Zach said he would. Or whoever said he would. I don't remember who it was, but yeah. Anyway, Hawks for chat. Let's move on to game number 3. You got Knicks versus Bulls. 2 teams off to good starts right now. This game is almost a toss-up. The Bulls are a 1-point favorite at home.
So we have very little injuries in this one. Levine was a game time decision, but it looks like he's playing. Kobe White is out for the Bulls, and Nerlens Noel is out for the Knicks. It looks like everyone else is healthy.
Interesting. All right, I'll post the poll. Mods, get your picks in before Eric. Let's see what you got.
Jackson is going with the Knicks. Caleb says this has been the first 4-game win streak of Levine's career.
Wow. Good for him. First 4 games of the season, too. What's up, Definitive One? Ask that question when we start talking about Ant, because we will be talking about Ant. If you have the time to stick around, because that can be a contribution to the Anfernee Simons conversation we'll have later.
Reese is going with the Bulls, of course.
Yeah, of course he is. You said Jackson went Knicks?
Yep.
Good, we get some separation at the top there.
They picked differently in the Pistons 76ers as well.
Yeah. Chris is going Bulls. Zach is going with their.
No, he said Bulls before
Bulls,
that.
I think the Bulls beat the Knicks and proved their. Oh, yeah, wrong use of their, Zach. I'm disappointed in your grammar.
Oh, my goodness.
Jackson says Island? What do you mean stop voting with you, Reese? This is game number 3, and last game, Chris was on an island. What do you mean? Game 1, was it? Yeah, you guys voted the same in game 1. It's been 2 games. 2 out of the 3, Reese. Zach, I know you liked it. Anyway.
Trevin went Knicks.
Alright, getting some split votes here. I like it. What's your pick, Eric?
Trevin and I had all the same votes last stream, and it worked out pretty good for us.
So are you going Knicks?
I'm gonna go with the Bulls, actually.
I'm also gonna go with the Bulls. And we're gonna end chat in 5 seconds. Get your votes in if you haven't voted in the chat poll already. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright. Not going to be a double down, but chat is going Bulls. Chat continues to go with the favorite. I'm telling you, that's been a thing with chat this year, Eric. Yeah. I can't remember the last time they picked a team that wasn't favored. But it is almost a toss-up, so it's fair. Let's move on to game number 4. You got Utah going into Houston, favored by 9.5 points.
So Utah is relatively healthy. They have Rudy Gay and Mia Oni out for this one. For the Rockets, they're also healthy. Only Daniel House is out for tonight. Krish with the quick Rockets vote.
Trevin goes Jazz.
Trevin and Jackson, Jazz.
I'm going Rockets.
I was wondering what the spread was going to be. I'm going to take the Jazz.
Krish went quick so that Reese couldn't complain about him voting with them. Now Reese has to go Jazz. Otherwise, he's copying Krish.
What's up, Malcolm?
Reese going with the Rockets. Reese, why are you going with Krish, man? Why are you copying Krish?
Krish says, oh. Maybe Krish is just trying to tank Reese and doesn't care about his own picks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Zach went Jazz, by the way.
Zach went Jazz? Oh, all right. So now it's up to chat. And of course, Eric, chat is going with the favorite. Might just stop doing these polls, man, if chat's always going to go with the favorite. Oh, I put Houston negative 9.5. Wait, no, hold up. That's not the actual spread. It's Utah 9.5. Let me make a new poll.
So they didn't go with the favorite.
Whoa, if they were going based off the poll, shoot. Okay, let me fix that. All right, it's Utah is a 9.5-point favorite. I'm also not trying to guilt trip chat into going with the underdog, but
seems like you're trying to influence them, not letting me pick, and
I just want them to think a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
I just want a little bit of thought.
Hey, man, let them sink or swim on their own. They have the power of, 40 people voting every time.
Facts.
All right, revote everyone.
Utah's a 9.5-point favorite. Zach said I actually would have went Rockets if I knew we had a chance for a cool pattern.
Pattern.
Well, there you go. There's the pattern, Zach. All right, I'm going to end this poll in a good 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 65% Jazz. All right, they're going with the favorite. All right, game number 5 is an interesting one. You got a battle of two Texas teams. You got the Spurs going into Dallas. Dallas is a 6-point home favorite.
So for the Spurs, McDermott is out, and of course Zach Collins is out as well. For the Mavericks, they have Sterling Brown, Trey Burke out, and the big one is Porzingis is out of this game as well. Last I saw, Boban was questionable. Let me see if he's playing in case anyone cares.
Everybody likes Boban. Eric,
Boban
so
is
care.
Well, I meant in terms of picks, not if whether you care about Boban himself. Because Boban's awesome. It looks like he is probable now, so Boban looks like he's playing. Right, which I guess that does matter because with Porzingis out, he might get some play time. Yeah.
Chris Jackson going Spurs, Trevin going Mavs. All right. Trevin Mavs, Chris Jackson, Spurs. I'm also going Spurs.
I'm going Spurs as well.
Alrighty. Yeah, I was on the fence with this game, and when you said Porzingis out, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Reese going Mavs.
Same with me.
Why is Reese... Wait, no. Oh, with my logic. Okay, yeah. No, Reese is copying Trevin now. Waiting on Zach. And what's the chat poll say? Wow, chat's trying to prove me wrong, Eric. Look at you guys.
Zach says Spurs.
Alrighty. Wow, I'm really proud of chat right now. Alright, I'm ending the poll in 5 seconds. And poll 67% Spurs. They finally went with a team that wasn't favored. So if the Mavs win by 5, chat, that's a dub for you guys. I still don't know if everybody understands it. So that's why I continue to explain it to make sure everybody that tunes in understands exactly what we're doing here. It's the whole namesake. All right, last game of the day, Eric. Golden State, Memphis. The same Memphis team that we crushed last night. They're on a second night of a back-to-back going into the Bay. Golden State's a 6-point favorite.
Yeah, so Reese says, real quick, playoff Luka coming out tonight. Just like to point out the playoff Luka has a losing record, so yeah. Anyways, Warriors are without Kuminga, Wiseman, and Klay Thompson. No surprises there. The Grizzlies have Dylan Brooks out, but it looks like everyone else is going to play on the second night of a back-to-back. Man, I kind of want the Grizzlies to do well tonight and beat the Warriors because I'm sick of their fans. But I just have a feeling coming off that game last night that they're going to be tired. And even though they didn't play that much.
Yeah, that's the thing is if they played 36 minutes for their starters, then it'd be a different conversation. Their starters didn't play as much as a normal game, so they should be a little bit more rested, you would think. Also, they should be motivated after getting blown out on national TV like that. See, this is where I struggle with, like, narratives like that and just going with the 4-0 team.
I'm taking the Warriors.
Trevin's going Warriors.
Reese is making up facts now to prove his point. He's pulling a Dan Moraine. Because playoff Luka has never played the Spurs, so
Chris is going Grizz. Alrighty. No clean sweeps today. Alright. Chat right now is favoring the Warriors, but it's close, so I'll give them a little bit more time. Get your votes in. Got 84 people watching, only 43 votes. Subtract the 7 for me, Eric, and all the mods.
Reese is going with the Grizz.
All right, Reese is going Grizz. This is tough, man. I don't know. Let me see how many minutes the Grizzlies starters played last night. So is Desmond Bane fine? Did he break his nose last night?
I don't think he broke his nose. I think he got a cut above his eye.
Yeah.
And I think it got stitched up and he's fine. Yeah.
Because he was playing really good last night.
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong.
He was playing really good on the season.
Yeah.
On both ends.
I mean, Jackson only played 18 minutes. Morant played 32, but Bane only played 23. Melton only played 25. You know what? Screw it. I'm going with the Grizzlies. What'd Zach go with?
Zach went with the Warriors.
He says he hates himself for it.
Just for the record, our co-leaders, Jackson and Reese, went opposite on every game other than the Hawks Wizards.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Interesting. Alrighty.
either they're going to split all those games and they can't split 5 unless the double downs work out, but they'll probably just split them and then be tied still. But yeah, it could go really far in one way or the other if one of them has a good night.
Jackson says, you are picking with Krish. Hey, be nice to Krish, man. He's a rookie. You guys as rookies were horrible to start the season. Yeah. All 3 of the mods. Actually, no, Jackson's a rookie too.
Jackson's a rookie too, so.
Yeah, I guess no excuses.
But he had a little bit of experience because he was in here making picks every time.
Get your votes in. I'm ending the poll in 5 seconds.
Zach wants to change to Memphis.
Why?
I guess we'll allow it.
For the pattern? He wants to do it for the pattern, Eric.
That's lame way to
screw the pattern. Zach, who does what's your gut screaming to you right now, Zach? All right, chat, 10 seconds. Get your votes in. It's pretty close. That's why I'm giving you guys more time. 5, 4, 3. I sound like a parent. 2, 1. Timeout. Alrighty. 56% Warriors, so no surprise there. Chat going with the favorite. He says, no, I want to root against Lurie. Who is, you mean Larry?
No, he's saying Curry with an L.
It's Curry with the C, but okay, I'll accept it. Grizzlies for Zach. All right. There, you got your pattern, Zach. Hopefully your eyes are satisfied.
I hope he loses just for that, and no offense to you. But...
Yeah, Zach's going to ruin this pick for me because he's going to jinx it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's all 6 games. Let's go to double downs. Why do I have a Blazers logo up there? That was a stupid double down on Monday. And I'm never going to double down on them again. Anyway, let's start with double downs. I am going to go with the Atlanta Hawks.
I'm also going with the Atlanta Hawks.
Get out of here.
Chat is going with the Hawks.
Stop copying me.
Okay. I wouldn't copy you, but...
Then why are you copying me?
I had already written it down before you even said your pick.
Nah, you don't have proof.
Okay, I don't. You're right.
You would say that. Chris says Washington. He's doubling down on his island. All right.
Chris. I love it, Chris. Thank you.
I'm kind of rooting for that then.
Yeah. I might change my double down then.
This is a rebuilding season for Chris. He's trying to tank, actually. Zach's going Jazz.
You should have just went Grizzlies for the memes. Reese has to go Mavericks. Oh, no. Chicken. Playoff Luke, I had it in the bag, I thought.
What? Reese is going with the Hawks. You and Reese went Hawks last time too.
So. Yeah.
Trevin's going.
You can pick whoever you want, Reese. I'm just teasing you.
Reese the copycatter, man.
Zach's trying to claim he changed it beforehand. Zach's getting kind of
wishy-washy.
People who change their picks after they put them down. There's no room for that here. Make a firm pick right away. Come on, Zach.
I mean, I'll do that occasionally, but...
Yeah.
But I'm also the one controlling the graphics, so...
I don't know when the last time I changed a pick was, other than if we found out someone was, like, hurt or didn't play or something.
Yeah. I'll flip a coin for you, Zach. That's what I'm going to do. Every time you switch a pick, I'm flipping a coin on whether to allow it. No, I'm flipping a coin whether to allow it or not.
He said it.
Trust in the dime.
No, he said it.
The dime says no, and Eric says yes.
Just
Is
let
Eric's
him have
opinion
it.
worth more than a dime's? I guess so.
Thanks.
Congrats. Trevin's
Sure.
going Jazz. Jackson's going Jazz.
All right.
You just want me to change it because you wrote down that he went Memphis, huh?
No, I had originally wrote down Jazz, so that goes. But I'd already crossed it all out, and
You write it down on a whiteboard, apparently. All right, there are the double downs for today. There are the double downs. 4 people going Hawks. That's Chat, Reese, Eric, me, Trevin, and Jackson going with the Jazz. Chris and Zach going with the Wizards and the Grizzlies, respectively. That's not the right term. I don't know. Anyway, that concludes picks against the spread. So, next segment of the show, Anfernee Simon's about to get a bag, Eric. He's about to get paid. If he keeps playing like this, Portland's going to be in a conundrum, and they're going to have a tough decision to make. The tough decision might be to pay Anfernee Simons $20 million a year, because right now he's playing like a $20 million a year player. If he was 28, he might not be in that range, but given his young age and what he's doing right now, in the bet a team I think would take on the potential and restricted free agency, which is what Anfernee Simons will be this upcoming offseason, I mean, the dude's going to get paid. The dude's talented. He's showcasing the talent. He's only getting better. He's a sniper. He's an athlete. He's kind of hit or miss defensively right now, but he has the potential to be at least average in that regard, showing improvements with his playmaking abilities, so potential to play point, but also can play the 2-guard spot. What do you foresee this situation becoming? Because obviously it's still early on in the season, but do you think that Anfernee Simons might play so well that Portland actually shops him? Or do you think it's a piece that they're going to hang on to and pay? How much do you think he might get? Just where do you see this going?
in my opinion, I think not knowing just how high his ceiling is, I think the smart thing would be to shop someone else and pay him, knowing that if he explodes and reaches that next level, that he could be just as good, if not maybe even better than some of the players we have in front of him. So, and I know that's crazy to think about, but I kind of like switching it up a little bit and sticking with Simons instead of trading him and allowing the same guards to go forward, if that makes sense.
Yep. Shout out to Caleb Pendergraph, $2 donor, who says, thankfully not many teams with cap space this year. That does play into it, but
yeah, we don't know.
Teams
I mean,
can
teams
clear
could
cap
always
space at the deadline and maneuver their way around to make things happen. So does it make sense to keep CJ and Dame if Anfernee is looking at potentially $20 million a year next offseason?
I think you probably have to move at least either Norm or CJ in that scenario. So I think that would be the play. But here's the deal. If you're not willing to pay him, I think you pretty much have to trade him this year. But the problem is he only makes, I think, just under 4 million, like 3.9 million or so. So, like, you can't. I saw Aaron Fentress last night on Twitter saying, Anfernee Simons for Ben Simmons. Who says no? It's like, well, you can't make that trade because the salaries don't match. So,
yeah, 4 million does not match 30.
So, unfortunately, the type of players we can trade him for don't make a lot of sense. So you're thinking maybe a team that has a trade exception or the room to absorb him, say the Thunder, and all their picks offer you 3 firsts for him or something, and then you use those firsts in another trade down the road maybe. I do not want to go that route. I want Simons on the team still. I really think highly of Simons. So that's not what I'm saying is my preferred route. But if the problem exists where you say you want to stick with CJ, Norm, and Dame, and also pay him $20 million. I think we also have Rocco and Nurk who are free agents as well this offseason. So I know we can pay all those guys technically, and go as far over the cap as we want to retain all those guys, but I don't think that will be the play. So someone out of those 6 players, in my opinion, is going to be on the outside looking in eventually if they all have good seasons. Now, the flip side of that is if Rocco continues to struggle, maybe we trade him and he's the odd man out, or we just don't re-sign him or whatever in the offseason. But all 6 of those guys, I would be disappointed if we let any of them walk for nothing because they all have value in trades. So I think you got to pay him. You've developed him. You've spent all this time with him. And I think he's too good and too important to this team moving forward to let him go. So I hope the plan is just to let him continue to get more minutes, and hopefully he can get more than 22, like closer to 30 at some point. And you use that to kind of, as Dame and CJ get on in their careers, you use that to kind of lengthen their career by playing less minutes. But yeah, there's definitely going to be an issue paying 4 guards who are all about the same size, big time money.
Here's the problem is, hypothetically, if you're going to re-sign Anfernee Simons and you're going to move one of Norm and CJ, it makes more sense to move CJ because Norm is better at the 3. I'm not saying that you would end up keeping Norm as the starting 3 and starting Anfernee at the 2, but you could find more backup guard minutes for an Anfernee Simons. I could see him getting 32 minutes a game off the bench and being the 6th man of the year next year if he's re-signed, right? So it's a situation where it's like you would start Norm at the 2 and then he'd play some 3 and probably play some 3 with bench units, which makes a little bit more sense in my opinion.
Right.
The problem is CJ's playing great. So it's like you have CJ and Anfernee Simons both playing phenomenally well right now, and it's a good problem to have. I don't mean for it to be a negative thing, but it's like if CJ's keeps up this level of play, do you really just want to move him to make room for an Anfernee Simons next year? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It would most likely come in the offseason if the Portland Trailblazers struggle in the playoffs again. It's just a weird conundrum to have such a wealth of guards because Norm's more natural position is more the 2 than the 3. I think he can play both. But speaking of guards, you just got Dame, CJ, Norman Powell, Anfernee Simons. That's insane to have 4 guards of that caliber. And people were questioning Anfernee Simons coming into this season. I'm just watching him. The dude looks so comfortable out there. He's brimming with confidence. You can see it in the arena, just how much confidence he has, his body language. The dude has it. Mm-hmm. And he's always had potential, but it's like, okay, can he become more of a slasher, more of a playmaker, and can he develop confidence, add weight? He's shown improvement with all those things, and he's still, 22 years old, Eric? Let me look at this.
Yep.
He's 22 years old. 22. He turns 23 on June 8th. So we won't even until after the season, unless we make the finals, of course. So he's still extremely young. You look at what a Gary Trent Jr. got paid last year. $18 million a year. He's better than Gary Trent Jr. is.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting it to be somewhere in the $20 million range. It's just, I don't know. Here's the thing. If CJ keeps playing this well and something unforeseen happens and like a borderline superstar becomes available, CJ's performance right now makes it a little bit more possible to get in the running for a guy like that. And Anfernee performance maybe makes Neil O'Shea a little bit more willing to throw CJ McCollum into discussions like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I'd rather have this problem than not have enough talent, I guess. So Howard asked if we can sign and trade him. So that is a possibility. However, it's tough to know that or plan for that because we saw like Lonzo Ball last year get signed and traded to Chicago, but they got Saturansky and someone else, I forgot who else was in that trade. Like was Garrett Temple or something. Like it wasn't. They might have gotten some picks and stuff too, but it wasn't like they got some like great player back for him in that deal. And I know you can, like, the Spurs got Thaddeus Young in a sign and trade for DeRozan, but like typically teams don't give you like superstars in sign and trades. So I don't think that route is that much better than, say, getting a bunch of picks for him and now and then being able to use those at the draft to maybe even move up and get like a top 5 pick or something, maybe if we get lucky on one of those. But like, yeah, it's, I don't know. I feel like Simon's the only thing holding him back at this point is minutes, and I think he's just ready to become a Dame and CJ type player in this league. And I would not like to see him do that in another uniform. I'd be happy for him personally, but that would be tough to watch him average like 25 and 5 on another team. As we get some sort of mediocre role player that doesn't really help us get better.
Yeah, and right now, for context, per 36 minutes, he's averaging 23 points per game, 4.8 rebounds per game, 3.2 assists per game. So if he's getting like that level of minutes, he's already a 20-point per game scorer.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's going to be game planned for a little bit more, but like if he has even a bigger role in the offense, I mean, the sky's the limit, and he's doing this at age 22. So just imagine what he'll be at age 28. The dude has all-star potential, and he might not get there, right? All-star potential doesn't mean, oh yeah, he's definitely going to become an all-star or anything, but he obviously has the potential, and he's obviously somebody that worked really hard this past offseason, and Dame has spoken to it. Dame said that Simons ratcheted up his work ethic this past offseason, and you can tell with various aspects of his game, especially just kind of some of the reads he's making. He's making a little better reads, and then his slashing ability, he's a little shiftier. He's a lot sharper with his dribble. I think that's a big thing, is he was kind of loose with his dribble last year, and he's tightened that up. So work ethic, potential, I mean, the sky's the limit for him.
Great person, too.
Great person, yeah. So it's just a situation where Portland has a decision to make. And here's the thing. If he continues to play like this, like, you want to keep him, but it's a situation where maybe we're talking about Pascal Siakam without trading CJ. Because if I'm Toronto, and they're kind of in a rebuild, and they kind of need a lead guard for the future. Right now, they got Fred VanVleet, Goran Dragic, but if they're going young with Precious Achiuwa, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, they got Gary Trent Jr., they kind of need a lead guard. They have some playmaking in their forward spots. They got Delano Banton off the bench as a rookie that's played good. He's a 6'7" guy that can play some points. They got Scotty Barnes, of course, so Anfernee Simons could be a point guard there and have enough around him if he doesn't figure out how to become like a true point. He'll be just fine playing the one with a Scotty Barnes and maybe some Delano Banton next to him in the future. So it's a situation where if I'm Toronto and Anfernee continues to play like this, I would be extremely interested in him. And it could be a situation where if you're Portland and CJ continues to play really good defense, and it looks like, okay, Dame, CJ, and Norm at the 1, 2, and 3 spots is just fine defensively, and Rocco maybe continues to struggle like he has this season, maybe you're talking about a situation where Robert Covington, Larry Nance Jr., and Anfernee Simons is your trade package for Pascal Siakam. I think that's like borderline matching right there. So that could be a discussion around the deadline, using Anfernee Simons as a trade piece in a lot of CJ-esque trades we discussed this past offseason, but instead of CJ in there, you throw in Robert Covington's $12 million, and you throw in Larry Nance Jr.'s approximately $11 million. Got Simons' $4 million. That adds up to about $27 million in outgoing salary. Maybe that's a discussion for a Pascal Siakam type player.
There's a bunch of people in chat talking about how Siakam sucks and is overrated and all this. That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, no. What?
I
I don't agree with that. The dude is Pascal Siakam is a borderline top 10 defender in the league, in my opinion. Great on-ball defender, pretty good off-ball defender, can guard multiple positions, smart on that end. His defense declined a little bit when he became the number 1 option. In Portland, he would be the number 2. No, in Portland, he'd be the number 3 in that situation because you'd keep CJ. And maybe even, the number 4 option, you got Norm there. So he wouldn't have to do as much scoring. He wouldn't have to carry the offense. He'd have more energy for the defensive end. And playing under Chauncey, I think Pascal would be a phenomenal defender. And at this point, an upgrade defensively over Robert Covington. And offensively, he can play make. He can pass from the 4 spot. His shot has declined a little bit, but I think that with higher quality 3-point shots that you get in Portland's offense, that would bounce back to about 35-36%, and then he can slash, handle the ball, that type of stuff. He's a dude that has made an all-star appearance in the past. He can fit off the ball. He can play with the ball. He can fit in pretty much any role you put him into, so it's not a Ben Simmons situation with a dude who can't shoot. Pascal Siakam's not overrated. We have to see how he returns from his injury and how he looks, but overall, people saying Pascal's overrated, I don't agree with that whatsoever. And if you can take Robert Covington and Larry Nance Jr., 2 role players, and use a guy off the bench in Anfernee Simons who has all-star potential, but right now is kind of stuck behind a Dame and CJ, and you can trade that for an all-star caliber power forward that plays phenomenal defense and does a lot of things offensively, like, that would show Dame you're serious about trying to contend, and that would make the team better this season, in my opinion.
Yeah, the tough part about that is that would really hurt our depth, though. We'd be so thin at a lot of positions.
Well, you get your Dennis Smith Jr., Eric. Yeah, that's the thing. They need to land somebody off the buyout market or get somebody back in that trade or another trade that could help, because you'd have Zeller as the backup center. You still have Nas off the bench. And I guess you'd have, beyond that, Dennis Smith Jr. That's not Zeller. That good.
Yeah.
You could play some Snell. Snell could be fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Lineup. So you'd need to add a backup guard. But that's the thing. If Portland makes a splash trade like that for Siakam and they're playing well, then they're going to be a top market to sign buyout guys, in my opinion.
Mm.
Especially if the Lakers keep struggling and all that. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So this is interesting. Luis Nunez brings this up. And this is the type of trade we might have to consider, is maybe getting like a Sadiq Bey and picks or something for Simons. Maybe like Sadiq and a first for him or something of that nature. So just... Like, we've seen that before where we get a player with an extra year left on his deal, and in that case, it would be 2 more years after this one.
I just don't see Detroit doing that straight up, let alone attaching.
But, this is only if Simons continues to get better and he's looking like he's ready to be a star. There might be a team like that who needs a guard. And, again, like you mentioned with the Raptors, the Pistons just drafted Cade Cunningham, who's kind of a small forward who can handle the ball and is expected to be their primary playmaker. Yeah. So having a guy who can shoot the rock like Anfernee Simons, and this is why I believe Simons is destined to get to that level, is because if you are a guard and you can shoot in the mid-40s from the 3-point line, there's going to be a point where he is not left open for 3 anymore. You look at the Warriors. I'm not comparing them to these 2 guys, but part of what makes the Warriors great is Curry and Klay Thompson are both like plus 40% 3-point shooters, and they do that every year. So you have to guard them, and you cannot leave them open at all. And as Simons learns that he can use that to get to the basket and get by guys because they're coming at him so hard on closeouts, that makes it a lot easier to develop into a good player, in my opinion. Whereas if he was shooting like 36% from three, that would be kind of questionable whether or not he could add that extra element to his game. So I think a team might realize once they start seeing him use his athleticism more to get to the rim that he could be a really good lead guard. And in the case of Detroit, they draft Killian Hayes 2 years ago, who they're still saying they're high on, but he just hasn't proven anything on the court yet. So you look for a team like that who needs a player like a Simons maybe, but I still don't want to trade him. Yeah,
Simons would fit there, but I just don't see him giving up Sadiq Bey. Like
also if they want to go young, I mean, we could talk about Rocco and Simons. I think fit for Jeremy Grant.
See, I wouldn't do that though.
Yeah, I don't think I would either. I'm just saying, like, those are the type of trades that could be available if we have to move. And that would be, in my opinion, along the lines of the Norm trade last year.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we'll discuss trades more as we get closer to the trade deadline. Obviously, this is all a bit early. It's just a situation where maybe you package him with Rocco with Nance, and that it makes $27 million of salary. You could bring back approximately about $33 million. So he's a guy who I think teams are highest on in terms of our young players, and I think teams will be higher on him than teams were on Gary Trent Jr. last year. So overall, it's a situation where I'm not I don't know. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself here, but it is a conversation that I'm sure Neil Olshey has discussed with his front office and come up with some contingency ideas. At least that's what he should be doing, so that he can be prepared if Anfernee Simons keeps playing like this to make a tough decision. And I said all this about Gary Trent Jr. last year at this time. And before trade deadline day, like the day before, or maybe it was like the morning of, I predicted Trent and Hood in 2 seconds for Norman Powell. Obviously, we didn't include the seconds, but I said all year, like, if there's a trade that surprises some people, it would be Gary Trent Jr. getting traded. And at this point, if there's going to be a trade that surprises people, it's going to be Anfernee Simons getting traded. But I'm not sure that would surprise people as much.
I've mentioned this. I don't know if I've mentioned this on streams yet, but I mentioned it to people. The Blazers right now are about $3 million over the cap, over the luxury tax. I mean, Anfernee Simons makes $3.9 million, right? If you're going to get under the tax, the most logical thing, if you follow the paper trail and why we only have 14 players and all this makes sense, to if we trade Ants to a team that can absorb his contract and give us picks and nothing back in return, we go 900,000 under the luxury tax, which is just enough to sign a player in the buyout market and not go back over and get back to 14 players. So if that's the plan, I'm hoping that's not the case, but just from the money perspective, the most logical thing would be to not pay Ant, trade him at the deadline, get as many assets as you can for him that are not contracts, and go about it that way. But I hope that is not the case. I hope I'm wrong about that. And I think it's kind of dependent on how they do. If they're playing really well and, up in the playoff standings near the trade deadline, I don't think they'll care about being under the tax. But if they're, hovering around 500 or maybe even a little under 500, I think that is a strong possibility that they will look to just get under the tax. And I hope that's not the case. You can always do it now if you have a player like Rocco struggling, trade him for someone making a little less, in the 9 million range, and maybe figure out a way to get under a couple players that make 9 million so you don't have to add anyone. But yeah, so it's a possibility. I'm just throwing it out there. Once again, I do not want that to happen. If we salary dump Anfernee Simons to get under the tax, I will not forgive this front office, because I think that's horrible, unless we get an offer of like 4 firsts that are good that we can't refuse. But that doesn't really help us this year. But just looking at the math before the season started, that scenario did cross my mind.
Yeah, and we'll continue to discuss this as we go forwards. Obviously, we need to see how he plays over a larger sample. Hopefully, he continues to play like he has been. Go ahead.
So Jeremy says if Ant's tearing it up and we trade him for picks, it would not sit well with Dame. I agree with that, but if let's say we traded him for 3 firsts, right, to Oklahoma City, they can afford to trade picks if they deem Ant is a player they could build around or whatever. Then we could attach those 3 firsts to like a Rocco and maybe get someone really good. Like we don't have to just trade Ant for those picks. We can make another move to follow that up, or maybe it's like a CJ and 3 firsts for Siakam or something, like you said, and we trade both of them. And in that scenario, we could probably work out a way to get another player back in that deal too. So I think it's possible that we follow that up with another move and still get under the tax. But I agree with you that would be bad optics if we just dump Ant for nothing like we did with Scal and Vonleh at the end of their rookie deals. Not that those were as big as this one, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. We'll continue to have this conversation. Let's preview this upcoming game for a couple minutes before we sign off here. The Blazers play the Clippers at home this time after getting blown out by, how much did they lose by? 29, 30?
29,
I think they lost by 30, yeah. So it was a blowout last time. Hopefully the Blazers can exact some revenge, but the Clippers last night lost to the Cavaliers 92-79. So the Cavs shut them down. The Cavs have been playing some good defense. Evan Mobley is the best defensive rookie I've seen in a long, long time. Maybe ever. He has been an all defense caliber player so far for the Cavaliers. So the Clippers are coming off a game in which they did not perform well. So both teams are going to want to win this game. This is going to be a situation in which both teams are motivated. Portland after getting blown out to them last time, and the Clippers coming off a double-digit loss to the Cavs. So, prediction for tomorrow, Eric. Do you think the Blazers take care of business? I know you hate me asking you to predict things, especially with the Blazers, because they're
so
hit or miss right now. But if you had to predict,
I think with the way the Clippers got played last night, and then the way our season has been up and down, I feel like we're due for a close game. So I think it's going to be close. My heart is hoping that the Blazers come completely prepared. I do think we have a lot of advantages that we lost because of all the turnovers. So as long as we don't fumble the ball every play, seemingly, I like our chances in a close game against them because I don't feel like they're a good team in the clutch. But yeah, so I'll go with my heart, I guess, and say the Blazers squeak out a very close, hard-fought victory.
Yeah, I think this will be close, which is kind of weird because the last 3 games, the Blazers have blown out 2 teams and got blown out by the Clippers. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's a situation where the Blazers are either really good or really bad. But at home, I don't think they'll get blown out at home. So it kind of looked like that with the Sacramento Kings, and then they fought back. I think Dame built a little bit of a rhythm. So I think overall, it is going to be about a 5 to 6 point win for the Blazers. That is my prediction for tomorrow. Overall, just got to do the things. It's all about the Blazers. It's not about like handling something with the Clippers as much as it's just Portland running their scheme, rotating properly, not making stupid turnovers and turning the ball over 30 times. I mean, most of those turnovers was just the Blazers making ridiculous passes, and it wasn't even necessarily good defense by the Clippers. So it's a situation where after getting blown out by them, it's not where I'm looking for them to game plan differently for the Clippers or anything. The Blazers just need to do what they do well. They need to play like they did against the Suns in the second half against the Grizzlies. It's all about what the Blazers do themselves for me.
And the Clippers last year were one of the best 3-point shooting teams, but didn't have as high volume as some of the other teams. Um, and that tells me that they get good shots. They don't just force a lot of threes like we seemed to last year. They work the ball around and make sure they get quality looks. And that's one thing that our defense is going, that's probably going to be the last thing that our defense is good at this year, as it tries to get better at all these different things and have different schemes and stuff. They teams that move the ball around the perimeter and find the open shot. Utah is the same way. I put Golden State in that category. Those are the kind of games that worry me as a Blazer fan right now, just because our rotations after the first or second passes have been so bad. But I think I like some of the improvements from some of them last game. So as the season goes on, I think it's going to be less of a worry. And as long as they give effort and don't just give up on plays like they did the first time they played the Clippers, I just feel like we could have contested so many more of those shots. And then combine that with, there's no way we're going to turn the ball over 30 times. And so, yeah, I think it'll still be a good barometer for how far we've come in just a few days.
Yep. Gotta love the dude at the end of the stream coming in here and saying our takes are ridiculous, man. I'm not even going to spend time on that. We're going to wrap up this stream. Anything else that you want to say for the stream?
Well, I do want to answer Definitive One's question.
Yeah.
He wanted to ask, is there enough shots for Ant when Powell is back? I believe there is. I think we saw some things with Dame that last game that we can really exploit, where Dame doesn't have to score 30 points for us to be successful. He can just be a distributor for the first time in his career. And having Ant out there to space the floor, I think both will take pressure off Dame eventually. And as long as they're leaving Ant open, he's going to continue to knock down those open shots. So I think we can get him enough shots. And especially if we continue to have more of an up-tempo pace than we've had before, so we get more shots in a game than we were used to. Especially that second unit, I feel like we should be running with that second unit, especially when Nas goes back to the second unit. I feel like Zeller, Nance, all those guys, Dennis Smith Jr., if he plays, all those guys are good in the open court. So I'd like to see them get out and run more, and that will lead to Ant getting more shots, in my opinion. And I think he's fine. I think it's just a minutes thing. I don't think it's necessarily an amount of shots he's getting.
Yep, I agree with that. And if we move the ball more, I think he'll benefit off of that, because he's doing a better job creating this year, but he's still a guy that loves to catch and shoot three and has value as a cutter that we really haven't seen yet, especially in the half court. So I think there's some more offensive things that we'll put in that might benefit him and get him a couple more looks than he's getting right now. We'll have to wait and see on that, of course. So that was a good question, definitive one, and a good answer. Is that all you got? You ready for the outro?
Yeah, I'm ready. Hopefully
right.
Rocco plays better, please.
Hopefully Norm plays. He's listed as questionable for tomorrow right now. Snell's still out. So we will catch you tomorrow on the post-game show. The audio of the conversation we just had will be up on Spotify, so if you just tuned in and want to listen back, you can go and do that. We'll cut out picks against the spread. And yeah, that's a wrap for the stream. Thank you for tuning in and making us a part of your Thursday. We'll catch you Friday night tomorrow, hopefully after a Blazers win. Until then, have a good rest of your day. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.